The calendar pages are starting to turn. A special month for which we both yearn. It's not just a day, it's a 30-day spree. A Filipino birthday for George and for Heidi.
The audio,
Heidi
because
says,
you
honey,
made
just a
this
small,
now.
simple fare. George's thoughts pulling out is good but wrong, what a pair. Cause a simple party in the Philippines, you see, means the whole orange is coming for free. Happy, happy birthday month to George and the pages are starting to turn. A special
Can't do everything. Can't do everything.
from the streets of Manila to Angeles City, it's a party. Heidi's cooking treats and making plans. George is testing the mic. It's a whole month of chaos in the land of Philippine antics life. Happy birthday, George and Heidi. Happy birthday to you. So grab a red horse and plate of spaghetti. So sweet, a Filipino American birthday that can't be planning starts early with the family debate. Who's making the lumpia? Don't be late. Tita Charo's bringing her famous leche flan, while Uncle Bob's in charge of the adobo pan. Heidi's in the kitchen, a little bit stressed. George just chuckles.
Honey, don't you worry, my dear.
In the Philippines, leftovers is a word you'll never hear. Happy, happy birthday month to George and to Heidi. From the streets of Manila to Angeles City, it's a party. Heidi's cooking treats and making plans. George is testing the mic. It's a whole month of chaos in the land of Philippine antics life. Happy birthday, George.
You get that back. Good morning. Oh, did you find it? Are you on the right? No, you have to start all over again. Anyways, I'm going to ignore George today because he's been working my last nerve already. How about I send you packing to go live with your family again?
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Magandang umaga sa ating araw.
Magadan,
Buntag.
Senorita, I feel for you, Senorita. Magadan, Senorita.
Wow, it shows that we've been away from Mexico too long, because I had to think about like what Buenos Dias is.
Buenos dias, Senorita. Anyways, I'm not going to get into this. Has nothing. Not today. Not today. What?
Yeah, no, the video just came down.
Oh no, I gotcha.
So anyway, this morning, guys, I just had some really good Jimmy Heidi. No, it's not what you think.
You, that's Wonka Dean.
No.
Because I've been a chocolatier and a sausage
Remember
maker.
Jimmy Dean, the sausage that you buy from the store? So
I've been making my own sausage, stuffing my own sausage, stuffing George.
No. She did, and it. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Told you it was off the chain. See what it is he had some before, but it seems like after we put it in the fridge and then I froze like 10 or 15 patties, it seemed like it set even longer. And the spices, and then I put honey on it. But
it is so good.
It's
oh my gosh.
High protein. Basically, it's like half sausage and or pork, and then the other part of it is beans and like eggs, and I formed like a patty with the right spices and put honey in the actual patties, and they were off the chain and some
Jimmy Heidi,
flavor.
folks. Jimmy Heidi.
But I'm going to make some with just the pork, but then I'm going to make some with just beans, where it's basically like a veggie patty or something, and they're still good.
No.
They're high protein.
They are insanely good. I was actually impressed.
I
actually had to tell Heidi, like, they're really good.
We'll get to the new birthday cake that we have. I promised you guys a birthday cake, and I promise you this is off the chain. It's my Filipino.
It's not my birthday yet.
Hush up, boy. You already had one. Now you're going to get... Actually, you've had two. You had the cheesecake. Didn't I give you something else already, or just cheesecake? I thought I'd given you multiple cakes.
Another reason why I chose Heidi, because she can cook. And she can bake.
Just answer the question, because today my patience is...
The answer is yes. No.
Just one cake?
She had... Babe, you cook so much and you feed me so much, I can't keep up.
Okay, so anyways, we have another
cake. But the cheesecake was really good,
and it's a Filipino. I thought I had another one the last time, but I rely on him for my memory.
Exactly. Even Heidi can't keep up.
All right, let me get to the point before we lose viewers, because the first few minutes are critical and George still doesn't understand that, and then he comes on with different things. But stick around, because we're going to talk about tragedy. There was an expat YouTuber, a vlogger. I heard through the grapevine, then I was watching Sunshine and he brought it up, and it does appear that he had passed away. He said he was a big vlogger. I call him that. He was just pretty much covering his life and some dating, and he used to show some women. And so he was a vlogger, a YouTuber, and he was, I believe he's only 54 when he passed away.
Really?
We're going to talk about medical, and we're going to talk about, you know, having money and plans, because the other one that passed away was a vlogger covered a British expat. I know we got some emails that somebody thought it was the other British expat. And it was like, yeah, he wouldn't be doing vlogs if something like that happened in the last few days. And it's another one that's been homeless. And here's the thing, the vlogger that covered him, to me, he did that exposing thing like several other have that put these guys on there, and then they continue to run. I think he did 3 videos on him. And then when he passed away, I think he's done 1 or 2 more videos on him. But in total, he got more than 1.5 million views, which is enough to buy a car. I'm going to tell you that right now with his numbers, he definitely made a crap load of money, and he was still homeless. And I just know that if somebody makes that much money, you would think he would have went back and helped the guy or something, at least put him temporarily somewhere or something. And it's nothing against the vlogger. It's just that I know that kind of money.
It's the right thing to do.
We're talking 30, 40,000 US dollars or more.
What it is, it's if you're gonna get that much income from that person, rightfully so.
He helped him do some things. I know the guy didn't want to go back to the US, but yes, but also the money doesn't always come like right away.
No, the money takes about a month.
But I think about how he died tragically in front of a sorry store, and other Filipinos, like, if he got any sort of money at all. Like, I seen recent videos where other Filipinos were interviewing him, and then I seen the interview from this vlogger that was up front, and it was something else. This guy's got a hell of a story, and we'll go through that story here in a little bit. And so that's what today's live's going to be about, is that it seems like the expats are dropping like flies, and he's not the only one recently. There are other foreigners that are always passing away here. We just don't always hear about it. So
yeah, now be aware that the fact that he moved on in front of a Sarasara store tells you something about Filipinos. The reason why he chose this location is, 1, he knew they were going to help him. 2, I don't even have to guess. I'm pretty sure that those Filipinos do give him food for free.
that's minimal. It would have been the amount on those views.
So what I'm saying is,
it would have been extremely
even
high.
a guy like
enough
me,
for a new car.
like, when I go to a Sarasara store, they don't have a problem extending credit to me. So my point is, they usually give credit to people that need it.
And also, the vlogger has been known to open up GoFundMe's, and he also collected money for this guy. So on top of,
Well, you can show that number.
well,
Or
we're
talk about
talking, 1.5 million divided by 1,000 is 15,000, and minimally you're making $10 per 1,000 views. So regardless, that's a high number. That's showing over
Point
100,000
being,
US.
more could have
And he
probably
opened
been done.
Well, and he kept telling people he was doing it,
He's
and
not
he's been
that
bragging
old.
about
he's
how
not
he got
old.
high numbers
How old
for
is he?
him. And we get it's people's income and they travel and everything, but he said that he was going back to help him. And the guy does do a lot of good, and this isn't me coming down on him. I just know that the guy, once again, it's what I call the poverty corn, where they use these poor people and homeless, and they do nothing but that, and they go and interview them, and they do all this stuff on them, and then they make tons of money, and then things turn tragic, and then this guy passed away. But anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. George is going to expose his new Filipino carrot cake here.
Huh? What?
Yes, timed exposure Filipino
Why would I
cake.
do that?
Let's get to it.
What is that?
It's your Go ahead. It's your Filipino. I can't hold it because
No, okay. This is well, okay. Heidi made me this surprise, and honestly, I don't know what this is. This is an ube cake, I assume, because of the color purple. Ube is a purple yam. For those of you who are not aware what it is, this is not icing. This is the natural color.
Okay, so it is basically a carrot cake with fresh. It's a carrot cake, but it has real ube,
which
nuts,
is the purple yam, yeah,
and carrots. Yeah, you can actually.
It's like a cross between a banana cake and purple yam.
Okay, but surprise, surprise! Here, lift up the.
And in addition, she added
a cream cheese drizzle. Show him the. That's one of his birthday presents. It's George's spunk. Did I say Christmas or birthday? Sorry.
You said.
Did I say
you
Christmas?
said birthday, but it's kind of early.
You're not getting that for free, and I didn't buy it for the hell of it, dude. That's your new shot glass.
Well, okay,
here, pour some of that. Pour some of that birthday spunk on there. So basically, it's a sugar-free. It's basically just made with cream cheese. Yeah, that's cream cheese and honey and a hair of butter in there.
Sugar-free.
Yes.
So you're a liberal. I'm kidding, folks.
Will you lift that up and show people? Nobody can see that down there. I'd watch how much you put on there. You got to eat that, dude. That's a lot. George.
Well, you said...
I didn't say all of it.
Well, did you say that until now?
Why do you have to be so literal on everything?
Because guys are literal. No, really, all guys are literal.
Not you, though. That's just it. Unless you're wanting to have a bad day.
It's not that sweet. So.
Right, but there's no reason to drown it, George. You're like a kid. I mean, if it had 3 cups, you were going to keep pouring it till it fell over?
Yes.
All right, well, that's way too much, George.
Yes.
I mean, how are you supposed to eat that now that it's drowning in that much sauce? I was just trying to fill the face up of the skull. That's it. You didn't have to pour all of it.
Fill the face up with skull. Okay.
Well, now you're not even going to know what it tastes like with that much crap on there.
No, I'm pretty sure I can taste it because it's really not that much.
Basically, really. It's ube carrot cake, and so it's basically, in my opinion, Filipino carrot cake. It's got raisins and nuts in it, and so it's got no real sugar in there. It's got the erythritol, so basically, it's more keto than anything. So, what do you think? What are you doing?
Okay. One of your birthday presents, since you gave me one.
A power bank. Aww.
Not just one power bank.
Look, he gave me.
It's a bear.
Yeah, because he calls me Bubbly Bear.
Yeah,
and I always need power banks for recharging stuff, and when we have the power outages. Aw, thank you. Yeah. I can't believe you drowned that in milk. What? Or cream cheese. Isn't that extra sweet, or is it cutting the sweetness of the cake with the icing?
It's
and then it's a butter icing. It's ube.
I'm just dipping it in.
Thank you. Yeah, that is too much because it's already got a butter ube icing on the outside. It's just a regular buttered frosting.
It's really good,
but it's all without real sugar. So.
Thank you so much, Marion. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much for the super chat,
Gio,
Marion. Hi, Scott and Aziza's in the house. Yes, Isa. I said Aziz. Sorry, Isa. So sorry, I always say that wrong.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Scott. Hi, Isa.
And sorry, yeah, I do put raisins because I've been doing a lot more of the healthier things, but I don't think the raisins really taste like raisins in that. You probably probably just a handful. What do you think? Still good, isn't it?
No, of course it is.
Different I call it my Filipino carrot cake. We will be doing 2 more cakes, and one will be by suggestion called the hummingbird cake. Basically, it is almost like a carrot cake. It's kind of like it's pineapple and banana. So basically, it's a banana cake.
Wait. How can you have a hummer cake with banana?
Not your hummer, dude.
Oh, crap.
If I invited Gio over, then it would be a humdinger. You're just ding. So, anyways, Kay Dallas is in the house. And so it'll be a hummer cake. Basically, it's banana bread or banana.
Hummer cake.
Hummingbird, hummer cake. Hummer time.
Oh.
No way. It's
Oh.
pineapple and banana. And then I'm going to make the German chocolate. Because why redo a cheesecake? Because I said I was going to pipe in berry in the middle of another cheesecake. But might as well do the German chocolate, which
Heidi
is
makes
coconut.
a killer cheesecake.
And they're all, calorie free. Or not calorie free. There we go. They're
I swear to
sugar
God,
free.
every time I come over to Heidi's house back then when we were dating, she would have like cake, chips, peanuts, and like
It's
drinks.
like a bar.
And I'm not talking about like soda. I'm talking about drinks. You know what I'm saying? And
mixed drinks.
now here's the sad part.
Lasagna.
She puts on a movie for me. I sit down and then.
As soon as he would eat, he'd fall asleep for the rest of the night. So then I would have to take advantage. That's how that one worked. Pretty much. He would sleep every time, and I thought he was an insensitive prick right from the beginning, man. I was like, what the?
No, I was just tired. I've been a busy guy. Busy.
You're still doing it. You still fall asleep after.
Busy.
You still fall here. So anyways, you made a mistake.
guy.
I guess. So really, I can't believe you did that. Men are such kids. I have no idea why literally you would dump that much on top of it. That's ruined.
Listen. 75% of this world is created by men.
You're going to eat that. I'm not.
And invented by men. But we're simple creatures. So, just saying.
You're going to eat that.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just we're live. I'm not going to eat it while we're Well, I am, little by little. Keyword little by little.
I mean, I guess it's not that sweet. So I'm going to go in and say hi to people real quick. Rico said, which one are the flies for? They're both gone. And it may seem cruel, and I'm sure we're going to get some comments from people like, oh my God, I can't believe you're making fun of them, and technically don't give a shit. That's where I'm at on that. If you take it offensively, that's on your mind. So basically, we're not allowed to say, hey, this guy is dead, as a main thumbnail, or, we can't go in with just being blunt. So I just, and you got to be kind of out there just to get people to come in and take a look at you. So it's where it's at. MB is in the house. So the flies are just representing they're dropping like flies. Literally they are. And for some reason, people discount like they get here and their health falls apart, or they're already at a certain age. I already knew my health risks were all there, and my health did not get any better. Most people's don't unless they do something.
Most people, unlike Heidi, we calculated the risks of coming here with Heidi's condition, aka lupus. But a lot of expats just don't care.
And then sometimes, like this guy, I believe he had kids, like the other guy, and so they come here and they have kids on top of healthcare, which still puts them in a responsible situation, and they're chasing around a young kid and a wife, and they're going through, some of them, it's their third go-round in life. Like they were married early on in life, then they were married again, and now they're being married for a second or third time, and it just wears you down. So
it does, and and a lot of people don't realize that. Okay, again, the reality is, I would say, okay, there's something called a honeymoon phase in most relationships, and most relationships is a 6-month period. But in the Philippines, you're on a fast track. So the honeymoon phase, I would say, if you're lucky, is about 3 months, and after that, then reality sets in hard, real hard. I'm talking about a lot of people don't realize that they need their medicine. They need, that kind
I
of
think
stuff.
they just skip out on it a
No,
lot.
that's
They
the
won't
point.
go
That's the
look
point.
for
They skip
it,
out.
and
then you see these vloggers and they say, "Oh, I feel great. I've never felt better before." Yeah, because you're high on dopamine, and guess what?
getting
After
their
the honeymoon
ducks sucked
phase-
brings me some.
Correct. Well, while your duck is getting sucked,
Ducks.
you're
ducks
immortal. But point being, after your duck's stop getting sucked, because it does get old for her.
So what's going on with me? I just came here to get stuck with no AC and sweat like a dog and do your dishes and suck your duck.
Well,
I'm
Okay.
not immortal.
Okay,
Actually,
okay,
it's aged
okay.
me here.
Hey, by all fairness, Heidi's duck is bigger than mine. Just saying.
You are not going to make it past 2 o'clock. I suggest you get your chores done and get up out of here. I suggest it highly because really, isn't today? You can play with it if you want to, man. What's that? FAO?
What?
FAFO? I like
What?
FAO Schwartz.
Oh, it's it's FAO.
FO.
If you're talking about FAO Schwartz, it's FAO Schwartz. I love that story.
Oh my God. Hey, Adam. Hey, Gio.
Yeah,
Slick Rick is in the
Hey,
house.
Slick
What
Rick.
is going
Hey,
on?
Adam's
Ramen. What's going on, Ramen?
Good morning from Las Piñas. Enjoying your birthday month. Hope you're enjoying your birthday month. Thank you so much. Appreciate your birthday wishes.
Tofu birthday cake. Yeah, no tofu birthday cake. Screw that stuff. If that's you, Scott, you need to go sit down somewhere. No.
Damn, Scott. That's
I mean,
hardcore.
you can probably get some soft tofu and really mix something in and then
No.
reset
There's
it.
nothing wrong with
And
tofu.
we like tofu, but at this
Actually,
point,
tofu and cheese
I've got a
sounds
limit.
really good, to be honest with you. But again, that's tofu and cheese, so that's double murder.
Anyways, so I'm trying to be healthy, which
I'm not.
halfway there. Weight loss is a second to it, but I ain't trying to kill the rest of my taste buds. But thank you.
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with tofu.
I didn't say that, but I'm not making a freaking birthday cake
Hi,
out of it.
Cindy.
Neither are you. How about you make the next birthday cake?
I'll make it for Shizzo.
And what's that going to be made out of? Why don't you make a grape
I
Kool-Aid
just said
one?
it. It's Shizzo and reused corn. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Still waiting for you to say something entertaining. I really am.
What?
I cannot make any shorts out of
Hey, Bear Grylls ain't got nothing on me. Because Bear Grylls is fake, yo.
Wow, you're batting a 10 here right now.
What does that mean? What?
The fact you brought up Barry Grylls.
He's
Okay.
fake. I'm sorry.
Okay, hey Cindy.
I mean, naked and afraid is bad enough, but no, Bear Grylls.
Good morning, gang. Beautiful morning in Zamboanga.
I bought all his knives.
No reasons. Okay, Sarah's in the house. I've
Hey,
come in here to
Sarah.
say hi. Let's see. There's Sarah. Good morning.
Chisholm says no raisins.
Yeah, no raisins. Yeah, I mentioned that early on.
Hey, K Dallas. Hello, K Dallas.
So I've traveled the world and the 7 seas. My time is done.
No,
Hey, Tito, what's going on? Good morning.
Okay, for those of you who are concerned about...
Quite a few of them, but recently it would be Gerard Black. So I believe that is his name. He's a YouTuber, seems to be in a circle with Sunshine Shoulder. He's a vlogger. He hasn't done nothing in several months, and before he was just, it's kind of like the black man in the Philippine. He's kind of in that type of genre, talk about their dating and keeping it real and all of that stuff. And I knew he existed only per Sunshine Shoulders channel, which who we watch. And it was just recently mentioned, and I didn't even know he was sick. But when I went and looked at his videos, yeah, he's in a wheelchair and everything else. He's 54. So let me get into what's going on there and tell you what's going on.
Spoiler alert, he won't be putting out any more videos.
Yeah. So let's get to the first one. And I put the links to his channel and also to the gentleman we'll talk about. His name is Craig, but I don't know why he said his name was Rusty. Later, someone asked, like a Filipino asked what the other guy that was homeless, what his name was. He said his name was Rusty, and I'm like, okay. But which we never got to that, and that's my problem. Where are we at?
I don't know what you mean.
Anyways, so too late for...
Not really.
Yes, it is. So,
No,
what do you care at this point?
exactly.
Exactly. So, all of that is no good.
Not really.
So,
you want to say something, say it.
I'm not. So let me go in here, and so basically there's the gentleman. All I know is that he is 50. He was 54 when he passed away. He just had a birthday in January, and he's an actual vlogger with health issues. And when I watched one or two of his videos, basically he was going on how he was going to go back to the U.S., how he's had consultations and all these different things. I'm not going to pretend I know the rest of the story. This was all gathered this morning, and it looks like another person that was going to use going back to the U.S. as one of their plans, which brings me around to it's not really doable for people just to up and leave, and most of the time they can't even leave. Like me, I don't even think, even with my health improving, I don't think I could take a trip back to the U.S. There's just medically it would seem really rough. And so not everybody has that opportunity. One, financially, a lot of people don't even have their own shit money. I mean, at least I have plane ticket money, at least to get up out of here. Other people don't. So then they don't even have that opportunity. And then they just skip out on medicines. They don't take care of their health at all. And, it becomes really tragic. And that's what seems like was going on with this YouTuber. So it's very tragic. I know he leaves behind some younger kids, and very tragic. And then the next guy that we will talk about is the one we were talking about that vlogger's been covering. He got 1.5 million views, opened up a GoFundMe. Turns out this guy has a hell of a story. So he's a British expat guy, not a YouTuber, there's like 3 or 4 stories, and as he said recently, there was a lot of bashing of the guy, and that there's been a lot of things said about him. His story does change a lot. We seen him when these videos came out about a year and a half ago, and I'm like, it's a crazy story. But according to him, he said that he came here in 2016, but then he said maybe 2011 was his first time. And was living in one area for 10 months when they found him unalived or passed away in front of a sorry store. And that was in Negros Occidental is where he actually was. He's from England. His mom passed away a while back, left him a bunch of money, but seems to be Filipino after Filipino after Filipino that he's been dating. It's been toxic. He said one of them was doing drugs all the time. Another one was doing drugs, and hold on, I got a theory on this one. And it seems to be the women that he was choosing seem to be in substance and alcohol, and that's what it seems to be that he's doing.
Okay.
Maybe not the substance, but he blamed her family for being a long line of substance users, but yet he was drunk in front of the sorry store. So
again, I'm not attacking some guy who
don't have the full story, but
regardless, and a lot of people will agree with me on this one.
Yeah, never too late to subscribe.
Most of the time, when somebody chooses somebody who has a substance abuse issue,
not always, but
well, I wasn't saying that, but no, they're codependent. You are a codependent person. It means you cannot live with somebody. You cannot live by yourself and survive by yourself. You need somebody to cling on, and keyword is cling on. So what I'm saying is he can blame the partner all he wants, but really the real issue is he can't stand on his own.
Gerard couldn't have been in his 70s, because I found his video 2 years ago and he says, I'm celebrating my 50th birthday. So Tito, I would beg to differ with that one.
Well, that's another thing. Again,
unless he was just making that up in that video, but his birthday was in February, and it was 2 years ago, and he said 3 years ago, it was in 2021, and it said my 50th birthday. So unless he was making it up.
What I'm saying is also, that's another thing. Be aware that Gerard may say he's 54, right?
He looked older for sure.
Okay,
but
see, that's what I'm saying. So, for example, I could say I'm like, what, 40?
Well,
45?
Yeah, I get it.
You know
I
what I'm
don't
saying?
get too
I can
far
lie about
off.
my age all I want, but as far as we know, that's his real age. Now, I'm not saying that is his real age, But what I'm saying is, be aware that some people do age horribly, and then I'm not picking on anybody because it it could be a family member of mine that looks older than I thought they did. You know what I'm saying? Because again, a lot of people think I'm younger than what I really look. But point being is has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Is first off, that's according to him, correct? Right. So we're just saying that that's what he said.
Okay.
And I already said, babe, what are you talking about? I did say things before.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that don't, he's, well, I'm not saying him. I'm saying that be aware that if the expat, again, whether male or female, he can blame the Filipino. I'm not defending the Filipino because
We're back to the other
it has nothing
story.
to do with the Filipino. I'm saying, point being is he can say, "Oh, my ex abused substances." Well, first off, one,
I didn't. I've watched this guy's story today, and half the stuff he says, I'm kind of not buying
Well,
it.
that's what I'm saying.
But because according to him, he lived in China for. He sounds like World Zoom to me.
correct.
See, the other vlogger made over probably 80,000. He'll deny that, but you evidently have 1.5 million
right,
monetized
we don't know
on this guy. So I know you made a lot of money, but yeah, of course I'm not going to talk ill will of somebody like that.
Right, I'm not saying ill will of them, but what I'm saying is be aware that remember
the guy's
source.
got some.
And
The guy's got
and
some.
again, remember, worst case scenario, he's still codependent, regardless of whether he's with his partner or not. He's still a codependent person.
According to him, he fell in love. She beat the crap out of him. She was using substance. The family was
And he's
using
still
substance.
there,
He's
and
blaming.
therefore he's still-
Not just one, but
Right.
others. He lost a ton of weight. He went to go live on the street. Had another girlfriend. She was abusive.
thank you
He
so much,
tried to
Scott.
get. He tried to get things at a. No, just hold up, dude. I'm going to tell this story. Hold up.
Okay.
No, you destroyed it. I can't even eat it now. It's now milk mess now.
I didn't destroy it.
Yes, you did.
You're
That's
the one
an
who gave me the
overkill.
cream. You said pour it, so I did.
Mm-hmm.
Usa.
Oh, that's the fan over there. I couldn't figure it out. So the guy tried to get jobs here, which his story was all over the place. He said he did work other jobs. His work permit ran out, but then he mentioned he was on another type of visa. His story switched out. So he evidently didn't stay long or anything else, but he refused to go back to the UK. He said his mom died a while back. All of his friends are gone. It's a whole different world over there. Kind of like that other woman. It's like a whole different life at this point. And at one point, I guess he was selling items like a lot of these homeless expats do. They're either just asking for money, sadly, or they're selling like low-key items, biscuits or Chopal or all these other things. And they can't be making more than 10 US dollars for an entire 12-hour shift. And I guess the guy got mugged at one point. He was asked what it was like to live on the streets, and he went on about, in the middle of the night, they came and took the money I had and what I had remaining, and I couldn't get back going again. And I mean, probably not surprising, being he's in a small town and all this stuff. He's an expat on top of that, but he did get money when his mom passed away, and he also blamed his girlfriend for going through that. And it seemed like there's a whole lot of blaming on this Filipina, but not him. He didn't do anything wrong. But in the interview from the Filipino that was shown on this vlogger's channel recently, he's drunk as a skunk. And hey, who knows? Maybe I'd be sucking on the old juice too if it got down to that too. So yes, you never know until you're in their shoes to know exactly where you would be. But in an instant, I don't get why these guys don't go home anyways. At least they're on their own territory. And I don't know why the government doesn't do more. We've already went through them enforcing things like that. What was the guy White's name that we just covered that lied in the newspaper and everything? I know his last name was, we'll just call him Mr. White, the other British guy. He's still here. He's still doing his thing online, teaching, and visa still expired. And the dude's doing nothing. As a matter of fact, he just posted something on his Facebook, still talking about he hasn't eaten in a few days again. And here he is, still not eating. He's
now.
It's he's going through all this thing. So we have another one that's just living out in the middle of nowhere. But I don't understand why these guys won't go home. And then the government, their governments know, like what the American embassies are informed these people are there. The local people in the barangays know that they're there, and that's just where they stay until things like this happen and the guy passes away. So he had the inheritance. He went through it. And that's about it. He was, in my opinion, used up for a few interviews. I think he bought him some food and did some things for him. And then after that, he said he hadn't seen him in a long time, which was quite some time ago.
Yeah.
And
yeah, now keep in mind the thing I have again. I'm not picking on this guy, but the reality is, whenever some expat says they have a work visa, analyze what they're talking about, because the only way you can get a work visa for the Philippines if you do some work that Filipinos cannot do, aka, for instance,
or
tech
jobs, or a certain visa you'd have to have.
Tech jobs. For example, that, and I'm not talking about low end tech jobs. I'm talking about high end tech jobs. Second, translators or teachers of English. That's somewhat borderline. A lot of Filipinos can. But point being, and all my friends, again, they've never left. Well, they've left the Philippines, but only for a short time. The point being is that there's a lot of Filipinos that are well versed in English. So what I'm saying is, you know,
have to
take everything with a grain of salt, what they tell you.
Yeah,
You know
I believe the retirement visa you can, the 13A you can. So most of them are married to somebody. I think that's why they're going to start really pushing where people are, make sure they have the right visa, that people being on a long-term visa, they're going to push them to the nomad visas.
Visa, that's somewhat meh.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
Yeah, there was another guy that had passed away, but that was a while back. Same thing, but at least he was 88 when he passed away. The guy was a player. The guy was a real player. He was like a military, because he said he went to go do an interview with him, and that's when he ran into the other guy, and he was showing him, and he said he had passed away. But the guy had lived in Hawaii for a while and brought his Filipina here. So I guess maybe she was born abroad, or at least made it over there, and they were married for 10 plus years. They come over here for retirement, and the bitch played like a player. He left his wife. They actually got a divorce because he said there were too many women over here, and she got left in the dust for a younger
ain't no problem. Money. Bro got used a pack of gras before grinding it. Just saying.
I agree. 3-month honeymoon phase. Yeah. We went through the phases of retirement, Gio, about besides relationships or being here in the Philippines, there's just even more when it comes to retirement. I think we did the 4 phases, and you kind of go through these things, and one of them is where people want to work or start a business, and I think a lot of them start to run out of money. And as Alex was saying about this whole situation, you just can't come here with no income. These guys that are relying on YouTube and that they're doing some online work or whatever, you still want to bring some sort of savings. But I have always said each individual person will know their limits. You will actually know your limits, and things may be way worse in the UK, or like what's going on in the US. A lot of people are in denial about what's been going on in the US. And all the things, political, the unrest, all the things that are making people uncomfortable now. It could be people are losing medical. Well, if you don't have any medical to begin with and you're down to bare bones and you have nothing to lose on that, then if you can get the rest of it together and get an online job, you just have to figure where it's better. I just seen a woman that totally moved to to France. And another one moved, another expat, she moved to China, surprisingly. And
China is actually a great place to go to.
yeah, there's a lot of beautiful cities there, but she's living her best life. She's teaching college over there, and she's doing like essays, and the class already speaks English, so she didn't even have to learn Cantonese or anything. And they pay half her rent. Like, she's in a fancy condo, and they pay half her rent. It's already like $400 or $500, and they pay half of that. And then she was making 30,000 or 40,000 in the U.S. She said that was just peanuts over there. She goes, but now she makes the same amount, and she lives like a king in China.
Yeah.
So, but
you have to remember, you can't live in China unless you actually marry a local or a citizen, rather.
She's not married to somebody. There are other visas.
No, depends on the visa.
Yeah, you got to get your immigration.
Things are not the same as they used to be.
No, I get that. So she's on something different. I already looked them up. When she said that, I always check to see which ones they could possibly be on, because I was thinking about getting up out of here. So I was going to go to China.
Well, you have to remember, that's married in, though. That's not the new thing.
Hi, Cookie Bear.
But yeah.
So let's see what else. Like I said, the video links to the stories we're talking about, including Gerard Black's channel, is in there, and condolences to him and his family. And then, of course, this expat that passed away, seems to be most of his family passed away. He just had a horrible time here. He said abusive Filipinos, and he seemed to have alcohol problems. Seems like he's been living quite some time, could be for years, on the street. They said at least 10 months over in that area where he had been living on the streets. And then, of course, we've been showing you the homeless expats. I don't know how it got out of there, but we also have Michael Onstad. I relisted him in there permanently. And the reason I do is Michael Onstad is an expat that's been living here forever. And if somebody's going to help you find the best insurance, we don't get any money from them. We don't nothing. We just want people, if they're looking for it and can qualify for it, to get it.
Probably the best one to go to.
And he has his own Facebook groups, but all that is back in. I don't know how it got wiped out of our description, but it's back in, and I made sure it was in this video. Now, like for me, the biggest issue is with my pre-existing and my current conditions and kidney issues and my age and my weight, there's just hardly anybody that would even consider insuring me. And if not, it would take probably half my Social Security to pay for it or more. And I just can't see that at this point, because I may not use it for a while. My self-pay right now on the monthly appointments and meds and all that is not worth me paying, say, the $700-800 they were wanting me to give, and I just can't. So for some people, you got to figure the balance. Are you going to pay $800 a month for whatever? But if you know that you're, super sick, it's going to be hard to get insured anyways. And a lot of these guys, hate to say it, are overweight. Once you, I heard somebody that was talking about their woman was overweight, blah, 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 and it's because she's eating more because she's a certain age. And I was like, no, once you hit a certain age, that weight's going to come on anyways, male or female. And so if you're overweight, that adds to the issues and all of that. But you can use that issue where you can go to Guam or back to the United States. But the ones that we keep hearing that are getting sick, they can't even take the trip on the airplane. And if they do, they have no stable situation because they sold everything. That's another thing. This guy, the gray guy, said that he sold everything. And let's see, he said he sold everything. He actually owned a house, according to him. He owned cars, and he had all that sold, and the women went through his money. I kind of think he went through the money, but he also blamed the women on that one. He also, like you said he traveled to several countries and did a lot of things. Hi, Cookie. Hi. Cookie's been super loving here lately. Hi, Cookie. So that's what's going on. Open discussion, and let us know. I think when people get here, I think they just get very, they kind of distance themselves to the fact that it could even happen to them. Even the best well-laid plans, things can flip on. They can meet one woman and drain their account. Some of the guys that are homeless.
To everybody, there's always this issue that everybody thinks, oh, that'll never happen to me. It doesn't matter whether you're in the U.S. or here. Everybody thinks that'll never happen to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, guys, do a thumbs up on this if you're not subscribed. And if you guys are on the other channel today, we do have a sister channel that we do a broadcast. So you guys aren't seeing things. Like, I think some of you are subscribed to both channels, or it might come up. It's because we have a second channel, and I believe it's Live Philippines, Talk Live Philippines. I never get the name of the channel right, but basically it's based on live streams, but we've been putting more of our other videos on there, like the pets. So it's kind of a combination of the lives plus the pets and some other videos. So and then this one's mostly become a live stream channel. So what is going on? I guess it's too late to subscribe. Yeah, no, Ted, I think he was talking about to Gerard Black's channel. Yeah.
Right.
Sunshine Shoulders and First Pina Wife was on Judge Judy's. Really? Recently? Or a long time ago? I kind of wouldn't doubt it, but... Hey, what's going on, Travel and Treasure? You can start at the bottom if there's anything.
Yeah. You're not that far. You're really not that far.
Yeah, I mean, let us know your guys' plans, what you think of this. All of it. What do you think of the other vlogger, that goes out and does the homeless interviews and keeps going back, and these interviews, and maybe even this new law might start applying to something like this. I mean, I guess if you get permission, and he had the permission, then it's no big deal. But with the vlogging changing, maybe let's just throw everything in there and what you guys think.
Okay, I'm gonna intervene on this one because honestly, we wouldn't have made a difference.
What?
What I'm saying is, it's either. What I'm saying is, are you talking about the same guy?
Oh, what part? Me just saying about the new law and
Right.
the interview? Well, yeah, I just realized that. If he got permission, then it's not a big deal.
Right. No,
But I think they are,
okay.
but I think they are trying to stop all this slum vlogging but it's mostly the Filipinas and women being exposed and everything. So I guess they don't mind an American
Yeah,
or a
now-
Canadian.
Now, keep in
being-
mind, you can slum vlog if done in correct taste. Even the most high-end, for example, Jessica Soho, slum vlog occasionally, and they do cover people in poverty, but as long as it's within right taste and within respectful limits, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You have to represent the person as a person and not as some autonomous object that you decide to exploit and show on YouTube just so you can get views. That's not how it works. AKA, for example, the difference between some of these vloggers. Again, remember, vlogging is not restricted in YouTube. One of these vloggers actually vlogs, but rarely, and he only vlogs on what he does for the poor only because so he can get support. And he goes out every day, rain or shine. He feeds the homeless and everything, but he doesn't concentrate on it. He just basically shows that he's out there, rain or shine, feeds people. Barely even shows that he
Talking about
feeds
Banana
them.
Man?
Well, yeah, I was being but
Well, why not? I mean,
okay,
they
for
can
example,
hook 'em up.
Banana Man's a good example. He's a vlogger. He's mostly on Facebook. Now, he's out there every day feeding the poverty-stricken people. Guess what? All his videos are all in correct taste. Okay, none of it are exploitative, meaning he doesn't
Yeah, I
go
think
inside.
it's just Facebook. that
Right, he
mostly
just
does
shows
it, and
that he gives out food to the people and stuff like that, and he shows the smiling faces of the people, and that's it.
that's
That's
like
in
for the.
correct taste. Again,
But
you don't-
everybody's going to do different types of
right,
vlogs.
but there's
I
a difference
mean,
between they're gonna go in these other people's houses, which some do, and they're like, oh, look how dirty their house is. Oh, look how they sleep. That kind of deal. Like, you're not talking crap about them. They're showing crap about them. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? And That's exploitative vlogging because people. I hate to say this. Everybody wants drama.
Yeah, I'm over some
Everybody
drama.
likes slop. It's called slop vlogging. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm thinking about doing next.
Correct. So point
I'm just
being
thinking
is,
about, half the reason I don't vlog inside of here half the time or run more things in here is because I would have to sweep, clean, and everything every 5 minutes. I told Georgia, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to do it.
yeah. So it's like there's a lot of vloggers out there that are like self-righteous. Oh, I don't vlog about drama. No, you don't.
You do. Actually,
Well,
they just said it recently.
Well,
they
that's
do.
that's what I was gonna say. You don't, but you do. And actually, in all technicality, it's called slop vlogging. They don't call it drama vlogging. They call it slop vlogging.
I don't feel that this vlogger did anything. I think his intention was to help him. But also, I did recognize on this vlogger that he's a nonstop and opened up a second channel. And he's got a lot of that stuff on his channel. Like he brings these poor guys up front and he does this, and he's got multiple GoFundMe's going right now. And I'm about everything being legal and on the up and up and how much they're exposing and what they're doing as a follow-up. And he didn't expect that he would get 1.5 million views off of all of his videos. So but I would hope that he would have done possibly more. An example, and I'm just going to put it out there, would be Paul, Old Dog New Tricks. He made millions and millions of views on Expat John. And the money definitely came in, but it came in with hard and with a lot of trauma, drama, and trolls with it, people reporting him and all this shit that went down with that. And then on top of that, looks like in the end, the wife and him kind of semi-turned on him. But John made it back to the U.S., but I haven't heard any update. Maybe there was one later. But I know he got a job there, and I know he made money, and then they said he managed to come back or something. So I guess he's possibly back again.
Oh my gosh.
But no, he's got a Social Security, so all that was taken care of. But that was a hot mess. But all this money rolled in, like PayPal donations towards his channel, and it became like a legal entanglement. And he talked about it afterwards. And I kind of think about how he might not have thought about it, got the views, and then reused it for content. And here's the thing, being a vlogger, for those that do it, I know Gio would know, and like we know, it's semi-addictive. Like we know we ain't making no money. I mean, we don't even make enough on the channel that even where we have to file taxes, but there's nothing taxed because it's only a couple thousand a year.
The fact that we're not getting taxed, although we legally...
No, we are.
We legally file tax.
Correct. It's so under what they would consider poverty that it's, it's just enough to cover the expenses and go for cat food. But what I'm saying is it's addictive. I guess that's what we should have said a long time ago is you're addicted to drama. I'm addicted to drama. You don't know if I'm going to slap George. And it just kind of goes from there. If I'm going to slap the cats. And I can't believe I keep looking at that cake. You're like a 5-year-old kid. I can't believe you poured that much cream on it.
It'd probably be gone by now if we were at 5.
Well, yeah, so it's not that bad. How did the other frosting taste on that? It does have that off flavor because I told you the vanilla.
It's not bad.
I ran out of the vanilla syrup or whatever. Their vanillas are way off. So when I had it,
again, for those of you who missed it, Heidi baked me a birthday cake.
It's ube.
It's ube. See, it's purple. It's called purple
Filipino carrot cake. So it had ube in the carrot cake. It's got a ube frosting, but it's a butter frosting. But I was starting to tell you that I only had the vanilla sauce, and then that's a cream cheese sauce that went on top of it. But he drowned. Like I didn't think he'd pour the whole thing in there.
No, you didn't say don't pour it all in there.
I shouldn't have to tell you like a 12-year-old kid not to do it.
You should, because normally when you go into a restaurant, that's whatever they give you is what is you're supposed to mix with the serving.
This is not a freaking restaurant, man.
No crepes, Sherlock. And you expect me to think that? Yes.
I mean, what, you just want me to fill half of his face so there was nothing in the cup?
If you have said, don't pour it all before I even the moment I touch it, you should say.
That's with you on everything, George. I have to actually tell you.
And here you go. Here you are. You're saying, well, that's what you always do. Right. And guess what? You probably should have told me because you just said it. That's what I always do.
Okay, that's okay.
And again, just to give a support for the channel, give us a thumbs up, guys. Don't forget that. It makes Heidi really happy and gets her off my back. Also be aware that again, yesterday I sent, I was talking to Heidi and I said, "Oh my gosh, I just realized that I was born in the late 1900s." And what I'm saying is, guys,
Right, that's
comment below what age you are. Chat, comment what age you are when Y2K happened. Year 2000.
19. You're talking about like 1999 when it went
Well,
to flip over.
2000.
Well,
I said 2000.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh.
How old were you?
Me?
Yeah.
I have to think about it.
Gio, you still in the room? I'm sure Gio was fine like wine.
Right? Exactly. I'm
He's
dead like
a-
Fred, just saying.
Well, here's the thing. I want to do a shout out for our son that just had a birthday. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
That literally was in the last 48 hours, and that's what I'm checking now. And so that just aged us because he just turned 35. So that just kind of pulls you down.
That's what I said. Y2K, how old are we? Think about it.
Yeah, what was that? 2000? How old were you guys when that came out? Yeah, we were 20. I was 29, so then you'd have been 26.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez, we were just babies.
26 is, well, it's still fine, but Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, 54 is normal. The Philippines is not a place to live long. That's in Japan or Korea. Yeah, the pollution, the drinking, the cleanliness it's too much. I think the tourism is going down. I think it's the infrastructure. Like this entire month, I mean, I know it has nothing to really do with that. The internet's been cutting out constantly, and we're doing an up. Yeah, it is. The pollution here is really high.
You said the Japan thing.
Yeah, Japan and Korea does have some
I
cleaner.
know that. Who said it?
Chosen one. Why?
Okay, I kind of figured. Hey, Chosen. No. I was just wondering. Okay, now, in all fairness, just so you guys know, you guys go to Japan, and odds are you're going to live as long as in the Philippines. Why? Because wherever you are, you're there.
Yeah,
the
you
reason
can't change
why
what's
Japanese people live longer is because they eat healthier.
all their life. Yeah,
Correct.
I mean,
And
yeah,
that's
some of
what I
these
was
things.
getting at.
But yes, the guys do come here and they drink. And
Well,
they
they're
sit
going to
with-
go to Japan. They're going to drink too. And what I'm saying
And
is
here's
they're
another
gonna
thing: a
consume
lot of
too.
these guys will come here and they'll go without AC and they try to live cheaper and all that. And I think a lot of the excessive heat and smog and all that actually is bad
And
too.
I'm not calling Japanese racist, but they are. I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of you have been in Japan. Will tell you. Will agree with me. Keep in mind.
Seems like Negros, and I think I had to find out where Gerard was living, but I
yeah, Negros. Yeah.
yeah.
Now be aware that when you go to Japan, there's a difference between
That's
Japanese.
what Kay Dallas said, but like I said, I just watched his video that said his birthday. He said my 50th birthday.
Yeah, when
So I guess he was
Japanese
lying.
people treat you as a tourist is different versus when they treat you as a resident. Those are two different creatures that Japanese people treat you, and this is a fact. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go over there and then figure out yourselves if you want to. Japanese people will look at tourists and will treat tourists like they're, oh, hey, how you doing? And
I
then
would think
when
so,
you
too.
fly over to Japan and you become a resident, then you are labeled as gaijin. I say gaijin. No.
Unless she was 50.
Yeah,
but
when you're gaijin, aka foreigner, living in Japan, they're kind of frowned upon. So I'm just letting you guys know. So doesn't mean that you had a great time in Japan. Doesn't mean that that's how it is forever. if you decide to have a permanent visa. And again, I'm not talking crap about Japan or anything. It's just the cultural thing.
I mean, unless his Filipina is in her 50s, but she doesn't look 50, but it does say 50 here.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah, see? And his woman is definitely not 50. So it says 50 there 3 years ago.
He's not 50. There's no way he's 50.
Okay, well, I was just, he's black. White cracks, man. I'm assuming Asian, black, they definitely look 20 years younger. I mean, I'm not trying to be
That's my point. He's not 50. He's older than 50. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
That's older than 50.
so then somebody's off on something. So
For
I guess
African American, that's he definitely looks really old if he's 50. Just saying.
either way. Okay. So then somebody was off on him on something. So that was just him saying he was 50
he was
back
never.
then.
I don't think he was ever young. Actually, Publiciano says he's 80.
Well, Kay Dallas says he's in his 60s or 70s.
Yeah,
so, okay.
see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
All right, then lay off of it. For Christ's sake, I was only going by what the man said, and his lady definitely isn't 50. For criminy out loud, dudes.
I'm verifying that he's not young.
Okay.
You don't have
There
to
he
get on my
doesn't.
case for
He
it.
doesn't.
I'm
He
just
doesn't
saying
look
he's
old
not.
there. Okay. Many expats can't go home because they burnt too many bridges, which is the truth. We've said that a bunch of times. There's just nothing left. Like, we've sold everything
No.
down to our cars. And I mean, and then the other half is taking an airplane trip back. I just don't think half of them
That's
can.
not burning bridges, though. Burning bridges is when you break relationships.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, a lot of people tend to be.
Yeah, but you don't need friends and family just to go back. A lot of them don't even have the money or the ability to stay anywhere or.
No, but there's a difference between being an a-hole and don't have to be an a-hole. You don't have to be an a-hole to go move to another country, whether they support you or not.
Okay. Chosen one, are you talking about burning the bridges as in no more friends and family, or like they didn't leave anything behind? No housing, no money back in the U.S., and nowhere to go?
No, burning bridges means you're breaking relationships.
Oh, okay. Well, then, all right. I don't think of it just
It's
that.
not a financial thing.
Oh, gotcha. So you mean like literally. Okay. Hey, what's up, Tony? Yeah, I always have a home. Expats are weirdos. Hey, what's going on, Tony? Moved here at 44. Moved here at 44, too young for pension or Social Security. I'm now 53, so been here for 9 years. I managed to make it working online. I'd be curious on that. So I take it you're probably like married to a Filipina or something, and then the work permits all came with that. So that would be great. I mean, you would have to have a good online job in order to survive. So a lot of people don't bring that, or they come here and then they do the short-term work. I know a long time ago doing online teaching would have worked a few years ago, but during the pandemic and after, everybody applied for jobs, and it was hard to keep things going. So yeah, risky. Yeah. And you have to have the right visa because it still requires you to have something. That's why the nomad visa has been established. So wow, being anywhere near substance later in life and in another country, Russian roulette. Yeah. And it seems to be that's what happened because allegedly he burned through a lot of money. And so, and then he still ended up homeless, but then he just kept blaming the Filipina. Can you see his chat? I'm seeing it here. Yeah, we can see it's here.
Who's
Which, huh?
Who's his?
I'm not going to say it.
Well, whoever they are, the one that I saw earlier, then yes, I can.
No, I can see that you're in there, but you may have stuff that's being held. So
No, it says help. I would say help. I don't know. And Ted says yes, we can see it earlier.
Gotcha.
Although it's kind of weird. Anybody says, "Can you guys see me?" Because normally you can see your own messages. Normally.
Well, you can see them all, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't remember their name just being living in the Philippines. Did you change your name recently? Because he's been around for a while. It didn't seem to be a
Yeah, that's the
familiar
one
name.
Ted was talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is I was checking. It seemed like a new person. Usually we're pretty good about
That
remembering
sounds like
names.
a new person. Yeah.
It's not. They've been around. It means
know
they've
that.
renamed themselves.
I'm saying that's. I'm not familiar with the name.
Yeah. Nope, we can see. My reputation is based on keeping it real, right? Yeah, thank you, Scott. Expat Live Talk Philippines. I thought we had just named it to Live Talk Philippines recently, so thought we'd remove the expat part out of it. We've been adjusting names. I was thinking about just calling it White Chocolate Talk.
What?
White Chocolate and Brown Spot Talk.
What the freak, man? Seriously?
I can't call it White Chocolate Talk?
No.
Why?
All right, Trump.
What's that got to do with anything? When I start wearing a mask with a flag on it, then you worry about him buttoning it up.
The freak. Anyway.
Right? I mean, why would you even say that? Somebody the other day mentioned that we did a soundbite of Trump, and I'm like, since when?
No, we didn't. No.
There's a Cartman from South Park in the beginning. I started laughing, but I think they just mentioned. I'm assuming they're talking about us talking about him last time. It's like, what's up?
And again, we're talking about him because guess what? He's the president. Kind of like we talked about Biden before.
That's been
because guess what?
established.
He's the president.
That's my fault on saying that because it said 50th birthday, and his Filipina does not look 50, but maybe she is. She looks like she's really, really young. And I'm not talking where she just looks like she's 30 or 40. No, the girl looks 30. She looks 30 or less.
I was gonna say.
And it could just be me guessing, her age, but I don't know anything about his life. He's only got so many videos. I haven't established marriage. I know in the beginning his oldest video shows him sitting down with like 8 Filipinas, and I didn't see any kids, didn't see nothing. He was living like a single life back then. Yeah, so I got that established now, but that's just me going through his videos. His oldest video shows my 50th birthday or something. And there's another name at the end. It's not even a name. I don't even know what it is. But Alan, what's your issue here? You've said it enough. He's not 50. He's a personal friend of mine. Stop now. He's not 50. Okay, got that. Hello. Said that early on. Let's see, you came in 20, and that's even if you're still here. Got it. Said it. Got it. That's not me that put that on there, and that definitely wasn't how old his lady is back then. Nobody there. And sorry, I'm 54. The man didn't look like he was older than me, so the fact that means he looks good for his age. It's actually, if anything, more of an actual. Let's see. He looks older than 70. Wow. Banana Man was started by Rick's Cafe location in the past. Yeah, he's been around for a while. I've been living in the Philippines for 4 years officially. George was born and raised here, lived 28 years in the U.S., and we returned here for retirement, and I know he's been established during those years, and the man does really well. No, and nor do we care. All I know is he put out a video trying to bite back, and at that point didn't care anyways. He tried to say that what everybody's saying out there is a lie. Sounds like other people in the U.S. going on.
Well, it's not.
It wasn't me on Epstein Island, and there's no list.
Those are Philippine documents.
It's like, okay, same bullshit. Same bullshit, different time of day.
Sue for defamation for us bringing up facts. and can't sue us for being actually those are actual Philippine documents.
I really don't give a shit.
Well, what I'm saying
The
is
guy's just
those
looking
are-
for content like we do content and can't stand his content to begin with. So right on that the dogs and the cats chewed. We had like bottled water that was underneath the bed frame, and they were gnawing on it. So it probably wasn't really open. It was probably the dog that chewed on it. Yes, they actually got part of them off.
smells like arsenic.
Pablo, did Kuya John marry his baby's mama? I don't know. I think you're talking about
What?
Expat John.
What?
I think he's talking about Expat John. Did he marry his baby's mom? I think that's what he's talking
Oh
about.
no, the answer
I
is
don't think he did.
No, probably.
I think she was married was the issue, is what he was saying.
Yeah.
Because she has another child. She had a child and then had the twins with him. Nobody knew about the other kid, and then during the time frame of this going on,
usually
we covered several times their story. Yeah, she was already.
Yeah,
I believe
remember,
she's already
divorce
married.
Doesn't exist. Yeah. So.
I have a neighbor for over 6 years. We are really cool. He recently told me 5 months behind in rent and asking me for $100,000 loan. How would you handle this? I'm stressed since we are friends. I wouldn't do it, dude.
See ya.
No, sorry. And that's another thing a lot of expats say is they don't make friends with other expats.
That sounds like a scam.
Yeah, because for that reason. And it's kind of like, I heard it best said by our Philippine journey. He talks about usually people hang in a circle of people.
If he's
you
that
know,
behind.
and sometimes you can't even help hanging in those circles.
What I'm saying is if he's that behind, he won't be there.
Yeah. Well,
It's not the U.S. They're going to
yes.
swoop down.
Yeah, that's $2,000.
They're going to swoop down
and are
take
you
that
even
place.
sure that he's that far? Yeah. How
That's
is he
what I'm
even that
saying.
far behind when utility bills can't
No,
be
they'll-
2-3
they'll-
weeks behind here? Maybe even 2 weeks
He'll
behind.
be gone.
I know ours wouldn't deal with it.
He'll
And we've
be
been here for
gone.
years.
They'll be evicted with the cops and everything. They don't care if they drag your ass out. This is not the U.S.
Now, I do want to let you know that they just announced that I'll have to find it, but I guess people being harassed for bill
get new
collection like the
friends.
U.S. There's the debt
'Cause you
collect
can't trust them.
the debt collection thing. Now there'll be a law or something that is coming out talking about Filipinos can't be harassed for their debt, and they're putting all these new things in place because they'll come and get you over debt here.
Oh no, they'll put you in prison for debt.
Well, they just released something saying that they
Point
can't
being, he can't be that far behind as far as bills. 'Cause
Yeah, I
there's
probably wouldn't believe it.
no company's gonna put up with that crap.
Which surprisingly, Carrie on that veteran guy that was in Makati or Greenbelt, he was behind by 3 months. But that's an extremely expensive condo. And the woman owns multiple
different.
properties.
Usually they have,
But
with those types, that's different. But this sounds like a normal guy that lives in a regular subdivision. That's not the same thing. And guess what? Even if you did get that money, you really think he's gonna use that money to stay there? No, they're gonna use that money to skedaddle and leave you with the money gone. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, oh yeah, we're gonna move over to Baguio where you or the debt collectors can't find us. You know what I'm saying? With your money. So that's a double no. What I'm saying is, okay, do I think that they actually owe that much money? No. And if they did, do you really think they're going to use that money to pay it? No. They're going to use that money to skedaddle.
yeah, it says right here, the proposed Fair Debt Collection Practices Act bars debt collectors now from using any form of harassment, threats of violence, profane language, and publicly disclosing a borrower's identity. Believe me, that did not exist till just recently because they would have. But according to this, they'll start getting the violators that are doing this will get fined 60,000.
That's different.
It says abusive online lenders to face penalties now for under Senate bill.
That's different. That's nothing to do with rent or loans.
That's
well, different.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like, for example, like if you
it could
bought
be
a
for
TV.
loans.
No, I understand. No, not really. Actually stated specifically. No.
Just said debt collectors.
I
It didn't say
understand that,
what
but
type.
if you keep on reading, it's more for actual monetary debt that has nothing to do with your living conditions.
I didn't say that it was. I mentioned that on a side note. Was that somebody calling out? I think. Can you check? Can you please check? Yeah, it just said their hair. 1 second, guys. Yeah, let me wait and prove it to you.
Oh.
I heard it once.
Well, that doesn't mean nothing. Okay.
Okay. So, Geo said drama equals views. And misery loves company. Yeah, definitely. 1 second, guys. Yeah, which is. I'm giving it to you. Gee whiz. I mean, yeah, which is under 1,700, right? 1673. All right. So delivery, guys. Sorry about that. And it does, and it brings views. A lot of people are like, well, you guys do it too. And that, yeah, if we would have collected 1.5 million views based on something, we wouldn't have bought a new car and did a crap load of extra traveling. And I mean, that had to be, I mean, even at minimal, you're talking 10 per thousand, $10, because his account's not set for the Philippines. And a lot of his viewers are in Canada and the US. He had to make a pretty penny on that. And good for him on it, but for that kind of money, he could have put him up in a place. But would it have made a difference on that? That would be, my deal. Hey, what's going on, Jose? Yeah, of course it does. When we do topics of just, hey, budgets in the Philippines, or we do something simple, we stay under 1,000. When we do drama, it goes up to 2,000 or 3,000 views. But like on the replays, we just noticed like one had 118 pesos for the replays. And so that's $2 after the live stream aired. And we made $2 only during the week. And I doubt it makes any other money. So, YouTube is barely paying out for certain things. So. Yeah. Come here, Calvin. Let me see. Here's Calvin. There's Calvin. Say hi, Calvin. Look how big Calvin got. Hi, Calvin. Look how big he is. He's a big boy now. Hi, you good boy. You purring? You purring? Yeah. Your dad. He's as big as his mother, isn't he?
Oh, wait a minute. What's he doing in here?
He's just visiting. So yeah, my skin's been breaking out something bad. Yeah, I'm gonna take Mary for a walk. Yeah, you have to tell him you're not a bank. That's definitely a for sure on that situation. And like I said, I doubt that he's that far behind. There's something else going on. And I just can't imagine. People should definitely have enough income to get by and then money to cover for a few months' expenses. That's just.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, people are giving the ages, said maybe 30. Marion says 38. Pablo, you were 42 back then? A young buck, huh?
Wow, 42.
We what? WWE YT2K 23. Yeah, George was 26. Yeah, he was young, very young. Oh, 14. Oh, Ted said I was 36. Yeah. Hey, Grandma got her groove on. Yeah, said she was 46.
No, again, last night I was like, man, I was born in the late 1900s, and I was like,
And you had to
man,
think
I'm
about
old.
that. Yeah. When you start thinking about things like Purple Rain and some of these movies, it's one thing. I hate to say it. It's one thing when your parents, like generations passing away, like Lucille Ball passed away early, years ago, and John Wayne and some of these other old actors. Oh, so and so just died at 96. Clint Eastwood, I'm sure, is coming. He's in his late 90s now.
Oh,
mid-90s.
yeah, Clint Eastwood, yeah.
But these people were like our parents' people. But when your own people start dying, like that actor from Nip Tuck, or the one you just showed me, he also did Nip Tuck. I didn't know that. And it's like, man, them's my people that are now passing on. So it's kind of
now keep in mind, remember, me and Heidi, and probably most of you guys were born in the late 1900s. But remember, we still lived in the 20th century. Now the new generation is living in the 21st century.
It's when you got your ass beat and your telephones were wired to the wall, and if you got your ass beat, you didn't call on your parents because your parents
when you have your Commodore 64 and crap,
would have wiped you out. I just couldn't.
Your VIC
I
20,
barely got by with
your
my
Atari.
kids. But if I have a kid do that to me now, that would just be
play these ET.
And they don't play here. I mean, that's the thing. They play that crap in other countries. Now here, some of the new generation is a little different, but I'm gonna tell you what, their parents will still straighten them up real quick here. Ain't nobody gonna protect the kid here if somebody comes out. You just gonna get your ass beat here.
Brain duster.
Brain duster. Right? Like you do when they say, "Get me a sandwich."
What'd you say, boy? You don't even have to look at it. What's that? It's
since
like
fast
automatic.
food hit, it's bad in any country. Yeah, that's another thing. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you
Thumbs
so
up.
much.
Great topic again, guys. Thanks so much, Cindy. Appreciate you so much.
Oh wow, Gio was in 2000. He was in the Army. Yes.
What?
Thank you for your service, 100%. Yeah, I knew you were in the military.
All right. When you said you're in the Army, I was thinking of Pauly Shore.
Oh yeah, there it is.
In the Army.
Having clean air is life or death. Yeah, he says it's so simple yet complicated. No, it will aid you, but a lot of guys are showing up here sick to begin with. Like me, I already had multiple issues when I arrived. Now, does it make it worse? Yes. And have I got a bunch of contraptions in the house to fight that? The answer is yes. Not only do we have dehumidifiers that clean the air and get the moisture out of here, but we have 2 air purifiers, and the house gets clean. I mean, I can't keep up still on the dust and the dirt. But when you go outside, when we went somewhere, we had the windows down on our last trip out the other day. And when I came home, I washed my face with a cloth, and I kind of did this at my nose. And I showed George, I held it up. You can literally see my face imprinted, and the nostril was 2 dark black holes. And I'm like, yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like the Shroud of Turin.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It's off of... I don't know what that is. Pyrenees. What's going on here? How come you're not looking at the...
Because I'm looking at where you're saying.
Okay.
You're not that far off, so you know.
Also, I want to, before we go any further, to add more conversation. We're still early on in the live stream. Our condolences and prayers and thoughts go out for the people in Texas and the United States. First off, the U.S. is just a hot mess right now. And to me, it still looks like they're on the verge of civil war.
FEMA's got this.
I think they totally dissolved FEMA. I could be wrong. But what happened in Texas was a tragedy. We've been watching it. George seen more of it this morning. And right before we came on air, I think they were up to 100 people. When I was up at 7 a.m., they said it was at 90-something. But they were discussing that summer camp. And then I showed George a video that showed William Shatner. And did you guys know that in 1993 there was a movie called The Flood based in the same Texas area?
No, the movie was 1993.
But the incident was in 1987.
Correct.
In July of 1987, the river came up and did the exact same thing by the summer camps. And that's what there's another movie based on it. I think there's a new one coming out, but there was one back then, and William Shatner was discussing it, and I couldn't believe
Yeah,
it.
the point being is it's still within the lifetime. So okay, I get it. I understand that properties don't move, and I get it.
And it's real. A lot of
Point
people are like,
being
it was
is,
fake. Here,
They probably should have.
check it out. Let me see if you guys can see
I'm not
something.
blaming the camp, but
On Friday morning, July 17th, 1987, the small town of Comfort, Texas, became the scene of a heroic rescue.
July of
and a tragic
87.
loss. Much of the footage you will see was taped on that day by the banks of the Guadalupe River. The more than 300 children at the church camp were awakened early. The river was flooding. If they didn't leave soon, their buses might not be able to leave at all.
They come in there brushing us up and everything. Tell us get up, get packed and all this stuff. And everybody's asking why. They said we gotta get out of here because the river was flowing over.
We started going around a corner.
So,
We would go down the hill and then water stuff.
no, when you play a play of a play and it's a
yeah,
short clip.
but the problem is again, like I get it if it's like a couple lifetimes ago, but it's still within the lifetime. I mean, at 87, all of us in this chat,
38 years ago.
yeah,
we
we're
were
all
teenagers.
still alive, and we're still all. Point being is, they probably should done something, preventive stuff.
I don't think there's how much rain came all at once and no early
Well, I
warning
get it.
is what
It
got
is
'em.
30 foot of
I don't
swelling,
think I
but-
would have had my young kids at a summer camp where their cabins were down by a
Well,
same
you can't
river.
blame them because remember
I'm not
these.
blaming. I'm just
No.
mentioning.
What I'm saying is the parents are not necessarily responsible because they don't know. I mean, today's 2025.
Well, that one woman will be thinking about it, being she lost 2 kids and her
Well,
husband to
well,
the tragedy.
okay. What I'm saying is today's 2025. Again, we were just talking about the era. 2025 from 2000, you're 25 years old. If you were born in 2000. This was happening in 87. What I'm saying, most of these parents don't know squat. This is before their time.
I still
Before
don't
they
get
were
why they
born.
would put the younger
Again,
ones.
it's not-
They put the
I'm not-
younger
I'm not
kids
putting-
campers by the river.
Right, I'm not putting
and
it
the
on
older
the
ones
parents.
got
I'm putting
put
it
closer,
on the owners of the
you know,
camp. That's what I was
to
getting at.
the main roads. I still
Right.
haven't figured that one out, but there's still, there was a lot of campers that are missing, still are, presumed unalive, and it's just a tragedy. It just really is, and yeah, it's
I mean,
kind
and I get it. It's technically an act of God, and nobody knows it's gonna happen. But it's just one of those things.
yeah. Pablo says the guy would have no, yeah. And did he mention whether it was a Filipino asking for the money and you're trying to keep the peace, or is that an expat? I kind of missed that. Who was asking for the money? Or,
No, nobody said whether they're Filipino or expat. Although, if I were to guess, it's probably a Filipino. But then again, there's a lot of expats who have the gall to do that, though.
Oh yeah.
All right. Sitting on the phone watching.
AI Coconuts in the house. Local vlogger. Good to see ya. Cindy. I never burnt bridges. Many of these men play around so their families won't support this. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you on that, Cindy.
Well, yeah, that's another thing.
I did with some of my family, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't return but I get that.
Well,
And a lot of people at a certain age, I mean, once they leave, sell everything and take off, and like that one guy sold everything, and he's probably got some adult kids. Think about it. Just sold off their inheritance, and then they come here to live with a Filipino woman. He's going to spend all the money on him. You already burnt a bridge when you started to leave, but I don't think that's I don't know. There were some for me, and I can't help that. I can't help that they thought that I was just going to hang there forever and have no life, and definitely the pandemic was rough. So there was no way I would have actually, I'm sorry. And a lot of the people I reestablished after a few years, and it does happen, but a few of them still won't talk to me, and that's fine. I mean, it's no loss. My biggest issue would be that everything, I get it separate than burning
Well,
bridges. It's the cost factor of restarting.
In all fairness,
Burning bridges for me also meant
regardless
selling everything, getting rid of everything.
regardless of what Heidi's saying and whatever the other party is, and Heidi will agree with me. I wouldn't consider it burning bridges if it's either their way or the highway.
And that's kind of where I was somewhat when I...
Correct. It's one of those when they give a very, very narrow road that you have to make a choice, then it's really not burning bridges, because then obviously you don't care about anything about other than your own view. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was living on a family member's property in my own apartment, which was oversized. And for years, they talked about selling, and then they were increasing rent, and then they wanted me to take over the house before I married George. After I did, then they just, we had 2 houses at that point.
So either
And
way,
it's like, yeah, so that person is not talking to me. So,
dead end. I mean, depending on how you look at it, it's still a dead end.
Sometimes you have to cut the rope. Sometimes you have to cut those ties anyways. And I was willing to risk that. And, it's weird. Yeah, but it's weird. Once I left, then other family members tried to jump on the bandwagon that they weren't even around.
So that's what I was getting at. The other family members that would go that route, they're not there. They're not the one living it. They don't know what's actually going on. They assume things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Heidi will agree with this. Like, yeah, they don't know. I even told Heidi. I'm a very open-minded guy. I even told Heidi, "Hey, whoa, this is what's going on." And I told her, I said, "These are my concerns." And this was way late in the relationship. But what I'm saying is, I saw things that I don't agree with, and I'm very open.
Yeah, a lot of outside.
And I have no skin in the game, if that makes any sense. And I'm like, whoa, hold up.
You ever had a family member that treated outsiders better than they did you, and then they just kind of dumped on you situation? It could be your own spouse. It's kind of...
Well, yeah, no, that's
They
true.
can have best friends and everything else. There are people that you work with them. It was kind of like that. And then after I left, the others wanted to jump on to say, "Oh, I can't believe you moved like that on them." And I'm like, what the heck? You weren't there ever. So you deal with burnt bridges, and a lot of people try to deny it. I know a lot of guys that get here and their kids aren't talking to them, and you will go through that. And I know that there are other vloggers where their kids didn't talk. And some of those things have been established, like, for a little bit, even my own daughter wasn't talking to me for a while. And it's a lot of hurt feelings. And so in talking with them and getting along, we've been fine now for a few years. So a stronger relationship than ever. But it happens, a lot of resentment. And if it's, and Gio, you're absolutely right. To reestablish yourself back would be at least 20 grand. And I think it would be even more because we have to get a car.
Yeah, and that's US.
And I don't even think that would even get us a junk car. Hey,
oh,
I want you guys to tell me how much your first car cost and what it was. Think about...
Well, tell us now how much you think it'll cost to get a car, period. Because used cars are like insane right now. You might as well bought a new car.
Well, you can, but I don't think 20 grand would. It just reminded me like of my first car.
Well, what I'm saying is back then, 3 grand, you're good on buying a used car. Now you can't.
I got mine for $600. It was a 1972 Chevy Chevelle where I replaced the carburetor.
Now.
It was good to go.
I know that.
And then the next time something happened to it, I just let a guy tow it away, and he had a grin on his face when he took it. And this was in 1988. So he knew he had a sweet car. The body was in good shape and everything, but it was my first car, and it was in St. Petersburg, Florida. And my stepfather sold it to me, but $600. Now, maybe he knew it needed a bunch more work, and I was vulnerable at 16. But you know what? I don't even think I even registered that sucker. I think I wrote on his papers. So it's just, I was really vulnerable and everything. So yeah, let me know your first cars and how much. I have bought in my lifetime several $1,500 cars in the 80s and 90s. And matter of fact, one of the best deals I ever got was $1,200. And an older couple bought a new car, and I'm trying to think of what that one was. One of them oversized, not a Bonneville, but it was big and a gas guzzler, but there was nothing wrong. And then later we found out that there was some sort of sway bar that broke in the back, and it kind of, the back end moved like the axle or something. But the car lasted for that money for like 3 years. And so I've had a lot of used cars, but try to establish now with a $20,000 car. That would. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know, but what are you? I'm trying to figure. Usually, you don't go. Somebody say there's something going on.
Yeah.
Like.
I don't know. Just go.
Anyway, so yeah, let us know. Pablo, so did I have a real nice looking female student working on my teeth. Yep, wife had to have specialized oral surgery there. Awesome place. Yeah, the USA is cooked. Any way you look at it, there's a lot going on. Good, bad. There was good things, bad things about this new bill. The old way of life is totally gone.
Okay. Nothing. Unless it's deep in one's lives. Anyway.
Okay. Dropping like flies. Old expats need only apply. There's been some young ones that have too. It's just not always the old ones.
Yeah, there's some
In the
relatively
past.
younger ones. Yes.
Yeah, under 50. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the most recent one we can speak of is that German girl. What was she, 36 or something?
No, I mean,
and she all of a sudden got extremely ill, ended up in the hospital, and they thought they were going to get her up out of there. She was in there for a few months, and she did pass.
It's all
36 or something.
Yeah.
That was just recently. That was in the last few months.
Yeah, older people, of
big
course,
YouTube channel,
reasons,
hundreds of thousands of viewers. They even opened a business and a restaurant and everything else. Yeah. Oh, I have citizenship in Dominican Republic. Yeah, brown spot. George is the brown spot when I said that. White chocolate and brown spot. Or my freckles, either way. Oh yeah, you like I don't know what Waymo means. George is not wearing black today, smashing the like button.
That's funny. Hey, Elvis.
Yeah, I think he wore it twice this week. But like I said, originally there's a lot of shirts.
Once a week. Yeah,
which is why twice. Many can't return. Yeah, that is true. As far as I know, he went back and got a job. Paul did help him. A bunch of people there in the U.S. let him stay with him. He got a job. I guess he stayed in some shelters initially, but like a lot of people helped him, and then he made it back. As far as I know, he gathered money, enough money, applied for Social Security, and supposedly he's back. So, and that there never was anything after that. Scam. I have Filipinos I meet after a few months they ask me for money. They buy their time. Yeah, I knock on wood. I haven't had. I get out here on a morning basis at different times, probably no later than 6:37 in the morning, and I, spend time with the dog and water the plants and take care of the cats that are there that are living in the yard and just kind of do my thing. And usually when I first got here the first year, they would swarm over here because of the neighbor up the street just handing things out.
When I grabbed the package.
Oh, did somebody approach you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they haven't. I've been getting packages all week. They haven't. So, were they down there? Is that where they're at?
Well, I don't know. All they know is they saw somebody.
Good morning, Mike and Venus is in the house. What is going on?
Hey, MJ. What, Jackson? No, huh? Mike. Just kidding.
Alan C., once again, you've mentioned he's not in his 50s. We've established that. And this was 15 minutes ago that he mentioned it again. Gotcha. Seriously? Yeah, he came back. That's like the third time.
Dude, get over it.
Yeah, right. our Philippine journeys in the house. And that's what I was starting to say earlier before George rudely interrupted me. I don't know who does that in a live stream, but who talks over somebody?
You do.
Okay, thank you. And Mike pretty much had said that pretty much it's not him. It was established by somebody else that you kind of get what you get when you hang out with certain people, or how was it worded? That basically you hang in a circle of people. So if we're experiencing a certain way or things, it's because you're hanging out with the right people, or the wrong people, or in other words, you get from your environment and from your people the good vibes or the bad vibes. And if you're hanging out with a bunch of poor expats all the time that are drinking, more than likely your ass is going to get asked for money after a while. Or if you're hanging out with, it's just the crowd that you hang with. It all rubs off.
What you get at.
Yeah, you get what you get, And I don't mean it in a bad way. I just heard him say that if you hang out with, better friends, and along that line, I'm just kind of...
Well, not necessarily birds of a feather flock together. What I'm saying is be aware that he put himself in that situation because
I think that's right.
That's the type of woman he's attracted to.
Yeah.
And again, remember, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, the white knight mentality occurs in both sexes, meaning some women, swoop down and save the guy and think they can fix them. And most men swoop down and, try to save the woman because they think they can fix them, but it's not. So point being, it's still your choice, regardless of what your opinions are.
Yeah, I was going to mention, typhoon season this year in the Philippines will see very unsettling weather due to the activity of the sun, which that was something else I was going to mention at the beginning of the live stream. 82,000 people are really affected with flooded homes. I've been reposting the videos on Facebook, George has, and they're really nasty. Like, I feel bad also for the animals and the farm animals that are out there, because them are the first that get wiped out. I mean, I know cats know to go higher up, but you can only do so much. And 82,000 people, it said, Bicing, the Hagabat, or Habagat, north and central Luzon.
Sorry, Hagabat.
But I guess the rain or the storm was called, was called Bicing, Bising, or that's another Filipino word. North and central Luzon were majorly affected. Yeah.
Not a word. It's the name.
Okay, so that was the name of the storm then? Yeah. Okay. And so it was really, really affected. Yes, history repeats itself. That camp area's legacy camp with generations of families going to that. And I'm sure that's not, them were the two major ones. I'm sure there was stuff in between.
Oh, and again, it's not so much. And
you're sending your kid to summer camp. I'm not saying it's anybody's responsibility. That was never my meaning to that. What I'm saying is I'm still a little shocked that they would put the younger kids, which it wouldn't have made a difference who was down there. Well, they wouldn't have made a difference. No. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, again, remember, this was within a lifetime. What I'm saying is, apparently, it happens more than, if it happens within a lifetime, it happens more than we realize. And what I'm saying is, it's kind of like in Bohol, what happened in Bohol. It happened within a lifetime, but it happened at least it happened in a decade. So what I'm saying is, this does not just apply in Texas, in that location. This applies anywhere in the world you're at. For example, in Bohol, it flooded last year or something like that.
What do you think of the cloud seeding?
But it happened within the decade, in about the same timeline as this one. So point being is, when you land in the Philippines, do a research, look at when these patterns come up, and see if that location is safe. Cloud seeding is... Now, cloud seeding, for those of you who are not aware of, although all of us are old enough to know, it varies on how you see the clouds. Normally, they drop dry ice in the clouds to make it rain. Now, the problem with cloud seeding, there's a side effect, and the side effect, it varies. What I'm saying is, cloud seeding can be beneficial or detrimental. Detrimental, why? For example, whenever they cloud seed in the Middle East, it floods. Well, why does it flood? Well, I wonder why. First off, it floods because, one, there's nothing to soak up the water. remember, most of in the Middle East, it's mostly desert, and there's nothing there to stop the water. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing there to soak up the water. So therefore, cloud seeding is whenever they cloud seed in the Middle East, it usually floods. Now, I'm not sure, Marion. Again, I'm not sure if you're mentioning cloud seeding. If they cloud seeded in that area, I really don't know. But if they cloud seeded in that area, what I'm saying is you have to remember there's stuff in place to stop flooding, aka there are people in charge of making in charge of if if there are levi's in the system and they're supposed to open the levi's or close them. I'm not quite sure. Again, remember, these are normal in the us. And as Heidi's saying, is there are people who are watching and making sure that when a water hits certain level, kind of like in anywhere in the U.S. If you're in the United States, I'm specific in the United States. In the United States, there's always somebody making sure everything's copacetic. If the water goes up this much, you have to call somebody and let's do something about it now.
They probably fired half those departments anyways with the
Thank
budget
you.
cuts.
And that's what I'm saying. The most of the safeguards in place aren't there anymore.
Hey, listen, they still got immigrants out there that didn't get the message. They're out there just throwing these seeds everywhere.
Right. So what I'm saying is, again, I'm not blaming anybody, but remember what I'm saying is you have to realize that you think about it, like for years and years and years, they're paying this system that costs a lot of money and nothing's going on. And I can't blame some government official like, you know what, we don't need this. It's safe. And then boom. Next thing you know, this happens.
I visited America and everyone offered me their car or telling me to stay with them to get started again. Again, there is something wrong if no one has anyone offering. Yeah, it just means you burn a lot of bridges and having your finances.
So they don't want
if you're
you back.
If you're going to burn those bridges, you better save like some extra money.
It means they don't want you back. Yeah.
I know I'm going to go crash at Sarah or Ted's house. I already got a plan when I burn up out of here and leave George.
There you go.
I'm going to go
True
live with
story.
Ted. Probably Ted. And I'm going to bring Sarah to go live with Ted. We're going to California, Sarah.
I'm going to Ted with you.
Oh, you not.
What?
That whole plan is just me and Sarah, Thelma and Louise. It's Heidi and Sarah. We're just going to take a car. We're going to get into Sarah's car and we leave it. And I'm just going to be like all ADHD. And I'm like, we're leaving today. Pack your bags and don't ask, woman. And we're just going to leave. No, we ain't talking to nobody, nothing. We're just going to stop at Sonic's, get a couple slushies, throw them in the back. Throw them in.
Bitch, I already got like an AirPod on all your clothes.
Probably does. I already dropped an AirPod in your car the other day.
Yeah.
So go figure.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 national weather systems. You're gonna put all those slushies in a cooler in the back, and we're gonna take off. Get some. We're just gone.
Right.
5 national weather systems position vacant in the immediate area, which we're responsible for notifying. Okay, so here's the thing. I keep hearing things like the White House just made an announcement, I guess was for us just here in the last couple hours, and they announced that the other side's lying about things, but what has been put out there on that? I mean, is Texas telling people that, hey, we don't have the budget, nobody was watching, or I don't even know anymore. There's so much information from both sides because they're all defending what he's saying and what he's not saying, and when truths come up, then they say the other side is lying. And now you have the vloggers that are just lying, like big channels with millions of viewers.
No.
They're making
there's
stuff up
a
now.
lot of big
and there's like a third story, and now I'm like, it is just getting sickening.
Yeah.
Whether it's Republican side, Democrat, Independent, and all of this, I'm just so sick with the lies. We're not talking about where we misinformed and then tried to correct that what's his name was in his 50s. Not that kind of shit. Never intentional. But these guys are doing streams and videos where they're pre-recording and they're like
fear-mongering. A lot of them are.
And like there was a guy on TikTok that just came through a few days ago and he goes, well, the Weather Channel said and didn't say, and he was like going around the whole topic to say there's another flood coming and they're not telling you about it. And I'm like, Do you realize what that would do to somebody there? And there was a bunch of comments like, God bless Texas. And I'm like, people, it seemed like the guy was lying. Nothing did happen.
And
And
again,
it's a repeat of his video. And it was like all of it was just made up.
regardless of what you think, people are gonna find somebody to blame. Okay. And what I'm getting at again, and I said it earlier, I just wasn't as brutal
Ask us
about
if we care on that one. Mike's Philippine retirement is your biggest fan, or I don't think Mike. Obviously, he is just like the British expat
No, he
and
is.
anybody
He is.
else. That means we're renting space in his head or
Correct.
something.
Even Brian doesn't do that.
Right.
But anyway, point
And-
being is
we don't care. He's just putting our name out there.
right.
But love him too.
Right. And what I'm saying is, again, like I said, even whether
shit.
you're pro or anti-government, whatever, that's not the point. Point being is,
Oh
if you
shit.
claim that the government shut down those programs, remember, it makes sense that you cut that program because there's no obvious, you can't see, you're just spending money and nothing's happening. And then guess what? The moment you cut it, this flood
I
happens.
had a 95 Ford
So-
Tempo, but I was paying for that.
So what I'm saying is, you can't blame them for trying to save money, but also on the other hand, there's a reason why they're spending that money in the first place.
There's like a
You know what I'm
whole
saying?
balance with the bill that came out. There really is. There was a lot of good and bad, and it's such thing that's dividing the nation. Like, I see a bunch of people now on the food stamps. They're like, oh, well, now these people have to get a job, and now this. I agree. People have been on them for 20 years. The ones I'm concerned with, and others should be, is the elderly and the disabled that are really disabled, and the veterans that can't work that are disabled. They said they're safe, so that's good. But I think people have to understand when these programs are being cut, some of them, that it's supposed to be for ones that have been on it long term. And so there's so much more.
Is a Ford Tempo Ford's answer to the Corolla?
I don't know, but I had one in the mid 90s that I was making payment on.
No, I never had one, so I don't know.
1100, yeah, and the radio costs more. Yeah, I hear ya. Oh, Victor said he had a Matchbox and a Hot Wheel, much easier to own. He outright bought it. Yeah, boom.
Boom, right?
Right. There's a conversation going back and forth. I had 6 cars back day. First car was a Pontiac Acadian. Yeah, my dad gave it to me. Yeah, I had to pay cash for mine. I was working at they call it like a drugstore. That's where I said I had the perfume and makeup area by myself. It was almost to me back in the day like a not Walgreens had their own area. No, it's who had their own perfume section? It was
Well, they all did when I came
Well, what's the
there.
other pharmacy that they have?
Okay, well, there's Walgreens, CVS.
CVS had a little perfume area too, but yeah, that's what I used to do. But yeah, I was saving a little bit of money there, and then I remember that car. I drove everywhere, and like I said, I don't remember registering. For the love of God, I think it was just because it was by the time I even thought about that, it already broke down, and I think I sold it to the guy for like $50. He was like, "I'll tow it away," and this is, how they get you, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll tow it away. It needs a couple thousand in work," and I was like 16, and I was like, "Yeah,
Oh,
I
is
need
that
the
what you're
$50.
saying?
Yeah, I sold it. I just let it. In other words, I'm thinking, well, I don't have to pay him to tow it away,
Sucker.
and I'm like $50.
Yeah,
And
sucker.
back then, yeah, I mean, we're talking 88. I'm like $50, and so I was like, okay. So I was like, I don't have the money to fix. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to get back. Wait a minute. If his own family won't help him out, there's a reason. Yeah. Gas was so cheap. Yeah. In the 90s. I know car here, just scooter, 100,000. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that was like I was talking about. Used to be able to go and get a half a tank of gas, go to the drive-ins, pick up some snacks and everything else. You only need $7-8 back then. That was my mom in the late 70s and early 80s. So
Yeah, remember when all you needed was
Hey,
$5 and change to go to Taco Bell and you're good?
mhm.
Wait,
Now you'd be
you'd
lucky
go,
to get a
yeah,
taco.
you would go like couch diving for $5 back then, and then you'd go to Taco Bell and you're like balling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good days, good days.
Yeah. Habagat. Yeah, the monsoon.
Habagat. Yeah,
Habagat,
Habagat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bicing must have been the name of. Yeah.
The name, yeah.
Yeah. Will ask for rent money. Yeah, I'm not rich. Yeah, I wouldn't give it to him. Hey, what's going on? Focus in Asia. Good to see
JR.
you. JR's in the house. Yeah, I would hold on to your couple thousand for you for sure. It's just, and you kind of feel like they need it. And then I told George there have been times that we've given stuff away or did it in Florida, or I've done it, and it's like I said, why is it I'm so weak with certain people, and then George I wouldn't give 2 pennies to or scratch his back if it was if it had fire ants on it situation. You know what I mean? It's weird that sometimes it's just easier to, but yeah, don't do it, man. Levies. Yeah, when the levee breaks.
Yeah, the levy.
Sarah says she's packing. There it is, man. I'm gonna say grab those snacks and let's hit the road. We leaving George. So we'll leave George there.
What?
We're leaving you in Florida.
What?
Yes, you're not going with us. Not to go see Ted. Yeah, there are some. There's no doubt there's more coming. I ain't even going to defend the new president.
The
on
federal
what's up and
government cut the
coming.
budget. I believe he's talking about the one we're talking about, that
It's the
ones
things
in
that
charge of
concern
watching.
me is the good and the bad that comes with this new presidency, and it's now officially divided the country like, you know, them bad Democrats and them bad Republicans, and the Republicans only care about that. I'm getting so tired of the backbiting between both parties. And then now the weirdest thing that came out was a statement that the U.S. government said there's no list to Epstein Island at all. None. It's totally, they're saying there is no list. And I'm like, so everybody from A to Z, big news, small news, all the reliable stations that know about this, it's gone.
Well, see, that's the thing. Okay.
It's like, so this is the latest thing that really blew my mind is the Epstein list does not exist, according to the U.S. government. They literally put out a statement. And I'm like, so none of this, all of that's not. And it's like, yeah, there's definitely something. Oh, and you guys knew that Trump started his own television. We got an email from Truth Social because I initially, my dumb butt, thought it was something else, and I had signed up. So I guess I initially gave them my email like 6 months ago, and they sent me an email stating that he's now got his own television station and that they are now going to be selling memberships on that. And I'm like, this has got to be the most, it's not PR guy. What do they call that? He sells everything now. He's got perfume. He's got all this merch. It's unreal. And it's like, we know the family's selling it. But anyways, let me get off of that. But I mean, he's selling perfume. You want some of that perfume for your birthday?
No.
You don't want to smell like Trump?
I highly doubt he touches this stuff.
Right. Oh my God, working at Woolworth. Yes, of course. I remember the restaurants.
Woolworth.
I remember when they had Woolworths inside of the malls, or like inside of places, and there was the restaurants where people worked inside of them and stuff.
They're still
And they had
alive?
the full, I don't know if they are. I don't know. Maybe New York might have one or two left. But initially, I remember like where they sold hamburgers and fountain drinks. And my mom, I remember Kmart doing the same. Like they just didn't have little places; they had full restaurants in Kmart's at one. You know, like where people would go sit down and eat. You know, full. Yeah, they used to have like a full court at one point back in the. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Epstein and was. That's what it sounds like they're saying right now. It just blew my mind totally that they're saying that, yeah. And it's just like everything's in denial. It's like he was arrested, all these things are going on. They brought all these things forward. And the last I seen before he disappeared, or, you know, whatever happened to him, they actually stated that Epstein said that he was in a retrial. So technically he wasn't even charged yet. And then boom, he disappeared. And soon as Trump and him were mentioned together and that he was on the list recently, and remember, there was all those other celebrities that weren't, you know, photos of them all together and everything. They're like, it didn't happen. And I'm like, oh man, there's some Jedi shit going on here. So I'm just glad I'm in the Philippines. There's a lot that I still complain about and don't like, but I'm gonna make do. I'll make do with you. You tired? You falling asleep?
No, I'm just
Yeah.
analyzing.
So I said I love turkey dinner. Oh, man, I love turkey dinner too. Right? We'll pack a couple turkey dinners to go with us, Sarah. We'll just, you know what we'll do before we leave? We'll go get a bunch of roasted chickens and roast like we'll cook a couple turkeys and stuff, get them deep fried, and we'll get like a bunch of ham and stuff, and I'll make a bunch of glazes and dipping sauces, and we'll just hit the road eating that stuff. I'm telling you, a couple cheese plates, put them back in the cooler, get some beers. We'll get some Bartle and James wine coolers, and we're just gonna hit the road. We ain't gonna care who's gonna stop us. Just like leave us alone. Can I see your ID? No. You got to catch us. Remember, the chunkier you are, the harder it is for them to kidnap you or catch you, because you just sit it out, right? Like, what? Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know why it does that.
You probably have to chat. Do it. Click on the chat.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't hit. They don't exist in the U.S.
Well,
Okay,
worse,
so
yeah.
all of them are gone at this point. I thought there was one or two left. So yeah, it's. Hold on.
Yeah, that sounds sus.
Yeah, George said that sounds because there's been
I've never heard that voice before.
now randomly George spoke of the
It's not
no, that's
what
somebody.
is that?
No, that's just a random.
Yeah, it's
No, they've got kids nearby.
No.
It's the kids. They're selling lemons or potatoes.
No.
That looks like some I eat because their hair's light blonde. No, they're selling vegetables at the door, and unfortunately, the potatoes they're selling and stuff is I just don't touch the. Remember that time that we got all them starchy vegetables, and it took me forever to eat them, and we cooked them up, and usually we just do it to give them the money.
Potato boy.
Yeah. Let's see. What does a pirate say when he gets kicked in the? No, can't do that.
Oh, you can. It's kind of not related to anything.
Yeah, I hear you. I was gonna do your cowboy dude from Yellowstone said, "Get a life, bro."
That's what I was looking at.
Okay.
You'll see.
Okay, then get rid of them. I mean, that's a brand new person. So if they're being trollish, then get rid of them. I see what you're saying. So are they making? Yeah, get rid of them. I can clearly see here that he's saying WTF. Anybody that comes in like that with a new account, we don't play with that. People are like, oh, well, why can't I send a link, or why am I not seeing my blah blah? Yeah, you come in like that hard, we don't have to have you in the live stream or be seen. So, yeah. And who knows, because that's immediately negative. So, and my guess is a brand new account. So, but never seen you before. Yeah. So if you didn't, I just did. It allowed it. Yeah, it looks like you already did it. It says right here. Yeah, no, they're coming in. She's got a big head. And if you don't know, now you know,
Sarah.
Because this channel's been around for a couple years, and more than likely you're a nobody to begin with.
Sarah
That's
says,
just where it is.
if we do Thelma and Louise, we dine and dash.
Hell yeah, all the way there, man. That's the only way. Yeah, it's like if there ain't nothing, if it's like the end of all whatever, and beings were at a certain age, what are they gonna do? It's just like, hello, we need you to pay. We already paid. Let's go, Sarah. We already paid.
CBTV says it's 114 degrees in Vegas.
Oh, I'm trying to make a reservation to get my grandson.
Jiminy
Aw.
crickets, that's hot.
Yeah, that was really cute, Sarah. No, it is. No, they're saying that even Europe is on fire right now. So, yeah. That could be Mike's Philippine retirement in there, creating a new account, or one of our regulars just loving us. So, right on, George. I found Truth Plus for media that is not allowed on Facebook, or maybe that the truth is not, or truth.
Truth
Yeah.
Plus. Truth Plus.
Yeah, it's just getting crazier on there. Well,
Truth
Trump
Plus.
is on there.
Yeah.
And I think
Now-
that's what's going on. It's kind of crazy. And I noticed something here lately. They said that, I mean, I just noticed a bunch of TikToks, all the social media, looks like everything with him has been removed recently. Like everybody's got some sort of, they said they're running scared right now from him, that people are worried about disappearing, and they're saying his whatever's going on. I just noticed that there's no more Trump talk anywhere. It's just like all of a sudden it dried up. Like it was one after the other saying things, good and bad. They're gone. So I don't know what's going on. But all right, guys, that's the end of it. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna stuff George with more sausage, rub some butter on him, and throw him in the oven.
What?
What? So, and thank you guys for joining us. Another birthday day down. And I'm going to stuff George full of more sausage.
What?
And
That didn't sound right, but okay.
I thought you liked the sausage. I put a little honey on it.
Yeah, but it just didn't sound right.
Okay. So, I just hope your mother isn't watching. So, love you guys for joining us. And thank you for being here. Appreciate everybody being in here.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Marion Haber.
Thank you so much. And I believe Scott was.
Thank you so much, Scott in Isa's world.
And thank you, everybody, for the birthday support. And appreciate
Say goodbyes,
it.
guys.
Say your goodbyes. And that's Google Bear back there. And so we'll be on here in a few days. And yeah. Oh, yeah, you guys can see Gucci Bear. Hi,
There
Gucci
she
Bear. There she is. She's a big kitty, too. All right,
I
guys.
think she's jealous.
She could be. Love you guys, and we will see you guys in a few days. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you guys are rewatching this.
Bye.
say goodbye to everybody. And yeah, and let's see.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate your support.
Yeah, Expat Live Talk Philippines. So that's the second channel. Go check that out. That's got some of the pets on there too. So it's listed in our description too. Oh, Gucci, you need your nails clipped. All right, guys. We will talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.